What's up, ladies and gentlemen, it's Michael here, and welcome to another Fudge Muppet Fallout 4 build. Today we have our second build designed specially for the awesome new DLC, Nuka World. This is the Operator. The Operator cares about three things: assassinating his foes with unrivaled precision, making money, and looking dapper in the process. He's sly and decisive, making no room for mistakes in combat, and he'll do anything it takes to get what he wants, regardless of morality. The Operator doesn't waste time negotiating with merchants either. If he wants something, he'll take it from them, and the unlucky suckers who put up a fight will often find themselves without their heads. This build thrives on a stealthy VATS enhanced playstyle. The Operator loves to catch his victims unaware, striking with insane sneak damage and accuracy. He takes great pleasure from watching the carnage he creates through his scope at a safe enough distance to avoid getting any mess on his tailored garments. As always, the timestamps can be found in the description to help with all your video navigation needs, but first on the agenda is the backstory. The Operator was the eldest son of a working-class family in the outer suburbs of Boston. He was a jealous child. He craved attention from his parents, and that attention was a rare commodity, as they worked brutal hours trying to keep a roof over their heads. What little time they did have was spent raising his younger siblings. At school, the Operator envied his classmates, as they always seemed to have the latest toys and more baseball cards than any child knew what to do with. This struck him as tragically unfair. Why were they entitled to all these luxuries simply due to the circumstances of their birth? His parents couldn't buy him pleasantries, so he took them. While most kids were filling their young, absorbent minds with academic knowledge or learning to play an instrument, the Operator was mastering the art of stealing. He would watch his target before striking silently at the opportune moment, slipping baseball cards from the pockets of his friends and sliding them into the cuff of his own shirt. He had the deftness and cunning of an adept thief, despite his age. He had a great deal of trouble maintaining friendships at school, and that was likely linked to the fact that he took such pleasure taking their things. This soon progressed into shoplifting and hustling. The Operator spent most of his youth in and out of juvenile detention centers. His parents were genuine, loving people, but they began to see him as a lost cause, and couldn't afford to take the time out of their dead-end jobs to seek proper help for him. The Operator resented them for this, and as a result felt like a loner, forced to pave his own way through life. Besides, he had no intention of going straight. He loved the thrill of taking what he wanted. He valued money and material possessions over relationships. In fact, he decided he would sell his family down the river for a wad of cash if he ever had the chance. After school, he resorted to lurking at far from classy pubs and bars, dressed in sleazy suits in an attempt to transcend his poor financial background, and hustling from unsuspecting patrons in games of darts and pool. He preyed on those who drank too much, and would usually end each night with a handful of stolen wallets. His most volatile act came after a night of heavy drinking and self-loathing. He broke into a house and burgled valuables before stealing their car and driving clumsily from the scene. Once he sobered up, he grew paranoid over his uncharacteristic sloppiness in the execution of the theft. He began to suspect that a private investigator was on his trail, and saw this as the perfect time to shake off some of the heat. He enlisted for military service, knowing that in these troubled times they would take anyone they could get. He was deployed in mainland China to fight for the United States Armed Forces on the front line. During this time, he learned much of guerrilla warfare and utilizing stealth tactics and long-range sniper rifles to take down the Reds. Fighting on enemy territory required far more subtlety than campaigns back home, and the Operator had all the skills to thrive. The Operator took great satisfaction from catching his victims unaware. As a common thief, remaining inconspicuous was a priority, and he approached killing the same way, opting to kill quietly from a distance. After returning home in one piece, the Operator was bemused by the fact that he now had money. Money he had earned and didn't have to hide. He decided to stop getting himself into trouble and settled down in Sanctuary Hills. He embraced the comfortable middle-class life, something he was grossly unfamiliar with previously. He reimagined his wardrobe, opting for suave, sophisticated suits he could previously only dream of affording. He began enjoying a wealthy man's lifestyle and no longer felt the need to steal from others. He'd always resorted to crime to improve his financial status, but now he just didn't have to. On a night out in Boston, he met the woman of his dreams and fell in love. They eventually got married and began a family, and it seemed to the operator that his tainted past was well and truly behind him. But as the story goes, the picture was about to be shattered, and on the 23rd of October 2077, total atomic annihilation sent the operator and his family running to the vault. Upon waking from his stasis in Vault 111, the operator is infuriated. He had worked himself up from a peasant to a man of wealth, and after no time at all, he was back at square one. He takes some time adjusting to the new world, but soon realizes that the state of the Commonwealth was practically designed for someone like him. The chaos and unrest spawned from 200 years of nuclear fallout may have left the land desolate, but the opportunity for financial gain was riper than ever. He had been disadvantaged, fighting an uphill battle as an impoverished youth, but now everyone was on an even playing field, and the operator plots to use his many skills to make more caps than a Nuka-Cola plant. The operator will accept jobs and quests, demanding as many caps as he possibly can. He won't be fazed by sob stories and pleas for help. He's just in it for the money, a mercenary sold to the highest bidder. He also won't hesitate to steal what he wants. He had been a phenomenal thief before the war, and after his time in China, he can dispatch of anyone who may catch him in the act. There's no longer a threat of judicial repercussions, and he'll take advantage of that. The operator won't be buying into the railroad's preachy crap, but he will abuse their resources to further his goals. He will use them to find his son and to get the benefits of working alongside Deacon. Once he discovers the Institute, he will change allegiances. Their tech and resources look valuable, and he sees them as a fitting investment. Siding with them also means he can eradicate the factions interfering with his attempts of controlling the surface. The Brotherhood are known for hoarding technology, and he sees them as competition, while the Railroad are a pain in the ass, standing in the way of his immoral ambitions. The Institute intend to stay underground, and that bodes well with the operator. When he finds himself at the Nuka World amusement park, he immediately takes a shining to the operators. The disciples and the pack are a bit too barbaric, lacking subtlety and lacking his desire for the acquisition of caps. He will hand all territories over to the operators and will choose to work and raid with them. Now we know a little bit about the operator, let's get into his special stats. At the start of the game, you're going to have 1 strength, 10 perception, 1 endurance, 3 charisma, 4 intelligence, 8 agility, and 1 luck. The special book will add an extra point to agility, bringing it up to a 9 for those bonus action points. The first notable stat to talk about is perception. The operator has a perfect 10 in this stat. We know that the operator is observant in a variety of ways. He has a knack for identifying targets, whether that be his victims on the school playground as a child, the particularly inebriated drinkers at the pub, or even the many lives he took as a covert sniper in the US Army. 10 points here will open the door to all the perks that make him so successful in ranged and VATS-enhanced combat. As his backstory suggests, the operator's unethical habits made healthy relationships seldom possible. What he lacks in charisma, he makes up for in perception. He'd rather avoid the hassle of manipulating people when he can far more easily just cheat and steal. With the help of the special book, he'll have 9 agility. A sharp eye is only so useful with a nimble hand to accompany it. Fortunately, the operator isn't deficient here. His many stints in juvie hadn't exactly rehabilitated him, but they had taught him to learn from his efforts and not get caught in the future. By the time he had concluded his military service, the operator was an expert. He acts swiftly and discreetly, stealing or killing without drawing any unnecessary attention whatsoever. But don't let his outlandish sense of style fool you. The operator is quiet and calculated when he needs to be. With such high agility, he will be able to apply his pre-war abilities with substantial results. So he's ambitious, perceptive, and dexterous. 3 skills that, when mixed together for dastardly purposes, can take the Commonwealth by storm. Here are the essential perks which make the operator exactly the kind of guy you don't want to mess with. From the perception stat line, we'll kick things off with the trusty rifleman perk. The operator doesn't mess around with loud automatic weapons. He values precision, and with all ranks, he will dish out double damage, ignore 30% of target armor, and there's an 8% chance of each round crippling a limb. Another perk which augments the operator's long-range approach is Sniper. At rank 3, non-automatic scoped rifles will gain 25% more accuracy to headshots in that, and you'll also be able to knock down your opponents. With such high base perception and agility, this means the operator will be going for the money shots with consistent effortlessness. The Concentrated Fire perk further bolsters the operator's VATS precision. Once maxed, the perk gives plus 20% accuracy and damage to all consecutive attacks to the same body part in VATS. We also have the Penetrator perk, so we can shoot people through walls, and we also have Locksmith, so we can gain access to all the places in the Commonwealth that locks prevent us from getting to. As an established burglar, this perk is a simple trick of the trade. Getting the Pickpocket perk could also be cool, but we just didn't think it was very effective in Fallout 4, so we're not getting it for this character. From the Charisma stat tree, we have Lone Wanderer. This guy was never close to his family and was never able to make lasting friendships. He faced life's obstacles on his own and favors material possessions over people. When traveling the wasteland alone, the Lone Wanderer perk supplies him with an increased carry weight of 100 pounds, you'll take 30% less damage, you'll do 25% more damage, and you'll have 25 more action points. So the operator will think twice about letting companions cramp his style. Next up from the intelligence stat line is the Vans perk. We know what you're thinking, this perk was previously obsolete. Its only use being a glorified waypoint, but fear not, because the second rank introduced in the Nuka World DLC adds a whopping +2 to perception. When added to an already maxed out perception stat, our base perception will be 12 before getting the bobblehead, which makes 13. In intelligence, we also have Gun Nut. The operator, as a sniper aficionado, knows his way around a firearm. We also have Hacker and Medic, so we can hack our way whenever we want, and with 2 ranks of Medic, Stimpaks heal 60% of lost health, and Radaway will rid 60% of radiation. The other major stat is agility, so we'll have the Sneak perk, meaning that will be 50% harder to detect while sneaking, no longer trigger floor-based traps and mines, running will no longer hinder stealth, and engaging stealth will cause distant enemies to lose track of you. And this of course fits in with this character, as in his military and home life, stealth has always been key. With the Mr. Sandman perk, you'll have the ability of instantly killing a sleeping person, and you never know when that'll come in handy, but more importantly, with 3 ranks, we'll have a massive 50% more sneak damage to our silenced weapons. Now, if that wasn't enough sneak damage for you, we have the Ninja perk, so we do 3.5 times the normal damage. Note that it also multiplies melee sneak attack damage by 10, but the operator isn't the type to throw a punch and get blood stains on his pressed suit. Finally, from agility, we have Action Boy. The operator may rely significantly on VATS, and with his action points, Voltec's targeting system will never let him down. At max rank, the AP regeneration is increased by 75%. The only remaining essential perk is Fortune Finder. This perk is a staple for every money-hungry crook, and the operator is no exception. Once maxed, you'll find significantly more caps in containers, and there's a small chance each kill will result in an explosive shower of caps. Not including gear, but including all bobbleheads and the Vans perk, the operator's special stats will be 2 strength, 13 perception, 2 endurance, 4 charisma, 5 intelligence, 10 agility, and 2 luck. Now let's have a look at this suave scoundrel's gear. When he first leaves the vault, the operator is focused on surviving and creating a steady source of income, so there is a bit of freedom in terms of apparel. Any suit should make a solid placeholder until you progress to Nuka World. Once you make it there though, the operator will want to look well dressed, so obtaining the fancy suit and tie is a must. This outfit will provide 1+ to charisma and intelligence, but most notably it'll look baller as fuck. Over this, we suggest the operator's glasses for +1 perception, and the operator's heavy legs and arms. You have the option to wear the operator's chest piece for a bit more durability, but that just comes down to what you prioritize, fashion or fortification. As for weapons, the only requirement for early game is that they're semi-auto rifles. Grab a 308 combat sniper rifle, a 50 cal sniper rifle, and a scoped suppressed assault rifle, and you should be all set until you can craft something a bit more badass. Much like the clothing, the operator's endgame primary weapon can be found in Nuka World, and that is a suppressed handmade sniper rifle. Fortunately, thanks to the perk choices, you can upgrade any handmade rifle you find, and it will pack a hell of a punch. Now, aside from a temporary spell with Deacon to get his perk, Cloak and Dagger, the operator will reap the benefits of the Lone Wanderer perk by traveling alone, so no companions needed. In terms of settlements, you'll pay no attention to the Minutemen. The operator will instead help the Raider faction, the Operators, in their efforts to take over the settlements of the Commonwealth following the resolution of the Nuka World storyline. And that concludes another Fudge Muppet Fallout 4 Nuka World build. This was the operator, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a like and share it with your friends. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest and get builds, hit that subscribe button and check out our social media links in the description, as well as timestamps to help you go back and find each section of the build. Thank you again so much for watching, guys. I've been Michael, and I'll catch you later.